Are you concerned about how artificial intelligence is going to impact project management? Well, in this video, I'm going to talk about artificial intelligence, the impact on project management, and what you can do about it. AI and project management. If you've not heard of anything when it comes to artificial intelligence that we are now seeing today, then here's newsflash for you. It is unbelievable and very impressive with what artificial intelligence can do. Now, what I'm seeing from a perspective of artificial intelligence and professional roles is artificial intelligence is a great tactician. And what I mean by that is it has the ability to really get information and really pull out a baseline for you that you can work with it. But then the question comes, what does that mean for you as a professional, particularly as a project manager? And this is where we now have to rethink and really re-strategize the roles and activities that we really want to focus our attention on. It is not about how tactically you can do things any longer. It's about how you think strategically and a couple other key skill sets that you now have to focus your attention on. Because guess what? Artificial intelligence is going to do a great job at calling out things tactically, but it's how you execute on them and how you bring teams together that's really going to matter. So let's dive more into that. Before we jump into the new skill sets you really have to focus your attention on, there's still some current skill sets you cannot forget, and this is some of them right here. And I'm going to share with you later in the video how you can get your hands on this, so stay tuned. Emotional intelligence. It's very interesting with artificial intelligence because it really is going to be able to do things that we as individuals took us time to do that very quickly. Artificial intelligence is going to be able to create baselines, verbiage, documents, things of that nature. So our time and energy is not going to be based on creation of documents. It's going to be based on fine-tuning and actually working with teams. Human connection is going to be more prevalent in our role as project manager. And one of the big things with human connection is emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is about understanding the inward aspect of what's going on around you, picking up on the inward cues of how people are saying, doing, feeling, so that you can read the room properly. Think of it in this context. Have you ever walked into a meeting room and you just felt that the energy was, maybe more negative? That's the emotional intelligence. You're picking up on nonverbal cues and you can read into it. That's huge because verbiage is just a small part of how we get our information. It's the nonverbal cues that are critical. And think of emotional intelligence as the inward aspect. So how am I feeling? What am I actually thinking? I may tell you I'm doing fine. Hey, yeah, I'm doing great, but I really am not. Another example too is think of your 2-year-old, if you have any kids, and they are not happy. You can tell it in the tone of their voice and on their face, and they say, I'm fine. They're not. Why? Because your emotional intelligence picks up on it. You're picking up on those cues. So that's going to be a real big skill set that project managers are really going to have to fine tune on, because you're now already leading teams, but your focus is going to be how can your teams be really effective and efficient? And emotional intelligence is a big part that's going to distinguish you from artificial intelligence and how it will support you down the road. Social intelligence. What, Adriana, what do you mean by social intelligence? So, you know how I said with emotional intelligence, focus on the inward aspect. How are you feeling? The emotions of how people are speaking or what they're hiding from you from a standpoint of how they're actually feeling. They may be angry, but they're saying, no, they're fine. Social intelligence is the outward cue. So it's body language. Body language is a big part of that. So it's like, no, I'm fine. You can already tell from a sound perspective, no, I'm not, but big time body language, I'm not fine. And so social intelligence is picking up on the outward cues, really understanding, hey, what is the room? How can I read this room properly? How can I understand the situation properly? The other thing, and why this is so important, emotional intelligence and social intelligence, is if we thought things were progressing fast today in our professional world, It's even faster, and it's going to be more so with artificial intelligence. Because remember what I said earlier, we used to create all the baseline documents. Artificial intelligence can do that. It may have taken us hours, days. Artificial intelligence can do it in seconds. So now for us to complete things, there's going to be a higher pressure and expectation that things are going to get done faster. I know, it's like, wait a minute, seriously? How much faster can we do stuff? This is where we want to get things done right, and we want to get them done right the first time. And so your human connection of emotional intelligence and social intelligence is going to play a critical part in your project manager roles. You cannot let things slide. You cannot allow for people to be upset and allow for time to go by. It will impact you and it'll impact your project. So this is now sort of the new world that we're entering, and you have to keep aware of. Idea generation and critical thinking. So these go hand in hand, and these are skill sets that are going to be really critical moving forward. Not to say that they're not critical now, of course they are, but what distinguishes you as a human from artificial intelligence? It is the idea generation. It is the critical thinking. It's the holistic looking things at a bigger picture, bringing strategy into play, being able to look at issues and breaking down them into manageable chunks, being able to be creative in your approach. These are all things that are now going to come to the surface as really important for a project manager. So if you are a project leader, a project manager, or someone who's very tactical by just focusing on tasks, you're going to have to learn how to take a step back and look at things with critical eye, critical thinking, brainstorming, being solution oriented, because at this moment, artificial intelligence still needs guidance to develop that type of perspective. And so this is where you're going to shine if you can come to the table with those already in hand, because things pop up and you need to know how to work it and do it well and ensure it achieves a strategy. So for sure, fine tune your brainstorming and your critical thinking so you can understand the bigger picture and support the strategy of the organization and not just the tactical items. Networking and relationship building. Yes, this is going to be really, really important moving forward with artificial intelligence. Let me backtrack. When artificial intelligence gets really, really good, you're not going to be able to distinguish yourself through your content, right? That's one of the big things and issues right now within universities is who's writing that paper, artificial intelligence or the person. So you're not going to be able to distinguish your skill set through what it is that you are necessarily creating. Artificial intelligence is going to do that. What you are going to distinguish yourself with is all those other skill sets that I talked to you about, but networking and relationship building, because it really is going to come down to who you know. Have they worked with you? Do they understand you from a strategic standpoint? Are you getting involved in things? So you just providing something, an output, is not going to be good enough, because who knows who provided that output, you or artificial intelligence. So the distinguishing factor is you as a person, your networking, your connection. And so that is really going to be important for moving forward in your professional career. Yeah, I know, it's interesting. It's that human connection aspect, because who you come into contact with and them getting to know you as a person will have greater weight than what it is that you provide. So if you're not comfortable in networking or in relationship building, or you're more of an introvert, these are skill sets you're going to have to start looking at and developing. I'm not saying immediately, but I'm giving you a little hint. You're going to have to look at it. And if you can do something with that, it's really going to benefit you. And if you are really good at those immediately, then start turning it up a notch, because again, this is what's really going to stand out. AI as a tool. So I don't want you to walk away from this video and potentially feel like, holy smokes, is this good news? Is this bad news? What do I have to do? Because there are some things that are totally going to shift the way we work. But definitely think of artificial intelligence as a tool, because it really is Be smart about it. Start integrating it into some of the work that you do. It will make you more efficient. Absolutely. It takes less time to develop concepts and ideas and baselining of items, but you still have to fine tune it. You still have to tweak it. And it's all the other aspects of you being better with bringing teams together, your creative thought that's really going to now distinguish you. So don't be afraid of it and ignore it, but don't think that everything's rosy either, right? Because that's not what happens when we go through these evolution shifts. Definitely know it's a tool, it's here, and be smart with how you use it. All right, you know what's going to distinguish you from artificial intelligence, which is really important, is knowing risks for your project. Only you will know them because you have the greater picture, right? You have that whole holistic view. So where can you get this? You can go to the link underneath this video and grab this right now. It's really going to help you. If you don't know where to start off with some team building and really getting good with that, you can watch this next video, which is all on team dynamics. On that note, if you can like this video, share it with your community, join this community by subscribing, I'd be so grateful and appreciative. On that note, I'll see you in the next video.